Hello, and welcome to this video on applying Stoic philosophy to deal with social anxiety in everyday situations. If you struggle with nervousness, fear of judgment, or embarrassment in social interactions, this video will provide powerful wisdom and strategies from ancient Stoic philosophers to help you manage those difficulties. The Stoics were a school of Greek philosophers dating back to around 300 BC, who developed a practical system of logic and ethics to achieve tranquility and resilience amidst life's challenges. While their teachings originated centuries ago, the core principles remain relevant and applicable daily. In this video, we'll explore utilizing key Stoic concepts and techniques to reduce social anxiety and increase confidence when navigating everyday social situations like conversations, public speaking, networking events, and more. I'll share insights from great Stoic thinkers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, whose words illustrate a profound understanding of the human condition. The brilliance of Stoic philosophy lies in its simplicity and relatability. Anybody can understand and apply these teachings to their experiences and find solutions. I'll use plenty of examples from our contemporary world to ensure these ancient ideas resonate. Chapter 1: Understanding Social Anxiety. Deeply understanding social anxiety is essential. Social anxiety affects millions of people across the world. The feeling of nervousness and fear of being judged or embarrassing yourself arises in social situations. As the ancient Stoic Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." For many, social anxiety can manifest as physical symptoms like a racing heart, sweaty palms, shaky voice, or even nausea when interacting with others. But it goes beyond just feeling uncomfortable. This condition can cause people to avoid certain social situations out of fear, like public speaking, meeting new people, or attending gatherings. Remember, if you aim at something great, you must dedicate yourself to something great as well. Overcoming social anxiety requires commitment, but the benefits of being able to engage fully in life are immense. Think about all the missed opportunities, connections, and constraints when social fears take over. Imagine being able to go after that new job confidently, speak up in meetings without hesitation, attend social events, and be present instead of being consumed by anxious thoughts. The philosophers of Stoicism would remind us that while anxiety itself is a natural response, how we perceive and respond to that feeling determines our suffering. As Epictetus stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." With guidance from Stoic principles, we can reframe our perspective on social anxiety from being a scary obstacle to an opportunity for growth and mastery over our minds. Chapter 2: The Stoic Dichotomy of Control. One of the most fundamental concepts in Stoic philosophy is the dichotomy of control, the idea that we only have complete control over our thoughts, judgments, and actions. Everything else, the behavior of others, external events, outcomes, is out of our control. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When it comes to social anxiety, much of our fear stems from wanting to control the uncontrollable. How we are perceived by others, whether they judge or reject us, if something embarrassing happens. But the Stoics would argue this is a recipe for inner turmoil. Imagine you're about to give a presentation at work. You may have some anxiety thinking, "What if I mess up my words?" Or, "What if people think I'm incompetent?" These worries come from wanting to control how the audience perceives and thinks about you, which is ultimately out of your control. However, what is within your control is how prepared you are, how you regulate your emotions and self-talk, and how you respond to whatever happens during the presentation itself. The ancient Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius summed it up nicely. "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." Rather than agonizing over what you cannot control, you can focus on maintaining your preparation, poise, and rational perspective. This refocusing of energy is incredibly empowering. Let's look at another everyday example: conversing with someone new. The anxious thoughts may be, "What if they don't like me?" Or, "What if I say something awkward?" Again, their perception of you is out of your control. But you can control your inner calm through techniques like box breathing, making eye contact, and listening attentively. You can control what you choose to say or not say. By focusing solely on what you can control in social situations, the philosophy of Stoicism provides a robust framework for overcoming anxiety. Chapter 3: Practicing Rational Thinking. At the core of social anxiety are the irrational thoughts and cognitive distortions that fuel fear and nervousness. As Epictetus wisely stated, "Man is disturbed not by things but by the views he takes of them." Our minds can spin anxious stories and worst-case scenarios in social situations that have no basis in reality. The Stoics recognize that while we cannot always control our initial gut reactions, we can exercise control over how we process and respond to those thoughts and feelings. Let's look at an example of putting this into practice. Imagine you're at a party and see a group of people you don't know well. The anxious thoughts might start. They're going to think I'm awkward and weird if I try to talk to them. I'll just embarrass myself. Your mind is already catastrophizing a hypothetical social interaction that hasn't yet occurred. This is the irrational view causing you disturbance and anxiety. A Stoic approach would be to pause, draw in a deep breath, and start questioning those anxious thoughts rationally. Is it true they will definitely think I'm weird just for trying to be friendly? Do I have evidence to say that with certainty? Even if they did judge me negatively, how big of a deal is that really in the grand scheme of things? Have there been times I've thought people judged me harshly, but in reality, they did not? By calmly interrogating the irrational fears with Socratic questioning, you can weaken their power over you. You realize the distressing thoughts are not based on facts but pessimistic fortune-telling. The Roman statesman Seneca reinforced this by saying, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than reality." With consistent practice regulating your mind this way, you take back control from the irrational and anxious mental loops. You become more grounded in the present reality of social situations rather than getting hijacked by worst-case scenarios. Chapter 4: Building Confidence Through Virtue. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is that true confidence and self-respect come from living a virtuous life following reason and wisdom. As Epictetus boldly stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You build an unshakable inner strength when you align your thoughts and actions with virtues like courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. This core self-assuredness becomes your unbendable rock in the ocean of social anxiety. Let's start with the virtue of courage. Social fears often stem from avoiding discomfort. We don't want to feel anxious, judged, or embarrassed, so we dodge certain situations altogether. However, the Stoics would argue that psychological discomfort is inevitable in life. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." By avoiding discomfort, we let our fears control us rather than our higher rational minds. True courage involves leaning into the anxiety and taking wise action for a higher purpose. It's having an honest conversation with a friend about an issue in the relationship despite the nervousness. It's raising your hand to speak up in a meeting when you have something valuable to contribute. It's introducing yourself to someone new at an event even if your heart is pounding. William Makepeace Thackeray, an English novelist, embodied this spirit when he said, "Bravery never goes out of fashion. Each courageous action builds your confidence further for the next. It reinforces the belief that you have the strength to withstand life's inevitable difficulties." Stoicism also emphasizes the virtue of wisdom and its role in self-governance. Someone operating from wisdom has perspective. They do not make rash judgments or give unbridled power to irrational thoughts and emotions like social anxiety. The wise person can observe their anxious feelings and say, "This is just an instinctive response based on irrational fears about the unknown. It doesn't have to control me." They can regulate their mind and body through negative visualization, self-talk, and conscious breathing. Remember, with sacrifice before, no approach is made, nor can a thing be hunted down that will not run away. This means you must make some effort or give up something before achieving a goal. It also implies that you can only pursue something willing to move or change. If something is fixed or uninterested, it can't be chased or caught. Similarly, social confidence comes from diligently practicing wisdom, continually catching and reframing anxious thoughts before they run rampant. Finally, the Stoics revered the virtue of temperance, which is all about exercising restraint, moderation, and self-discipline. This is key for managing social anxiety as the symptoms often involve a sense of losing control. Someone acting with temperance does not get hijacked by anxious emotions in the heat of social interaction. They can stay grounded and poised. They think before reacting. They have the restraint to pause and recenter themselves when anxiousness arises rather than letting it spiral. The philosopher Zeno of Citium described the temperate person as being unmoved by pains or pleasures. While feeling some nerves is inevitable, you can develop the mental toughness to keep that state from controlling you. You cultivate an unshakable core of self-confidence by embodying virtues like courage, wisdom, and temperance in your daily life. You stop being at the mercy of social fears and instead operate from a place of inner fortitude. Chapter 5: The Power of Present Moment Awareness. One of the biggest pitfalls that feed into social anxiety is getting trapped in rumination and mental time traveling. We replay past interactions and beat ourselves up over perceived mistakes. We worry excessively about future social situations that haven't happened yet. This mental noise and chatter only amplify feelings of anxiety. As Marcus Aurelius advised, do not let the future trouble you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. To counter this, the Stoics emphasized the power of grounding yourself in the present moment. The only reality that exists is the here and now. Anything beyond that is purely speculative imagination. By developing a practice of present moment awareness, you can free yourself from the torment of past regrets and future anxieties. Focus your attention solely on the task at hand, the person in front of you, and your immediate environment. Pay attention to your senses, what you see, hear, feel, and smell. Feel your feet on the ground and your breath moving in and out. When your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to the present. Over time, this practice can reduce the intensity and frequency of social anxiety. You become more anchored in the reality of the present rather than losing yourself in anxious thoughts. The Roman philosopher Seneca aptly said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." In social interactions, focus on being fully present with the person you are engaging with rather than worrying about what you will say next or how they perceive you. Truly listen to them with curiosity and empathy. Respond naturally from that grounded state of present awareness. You will find that many anxious thoughts lose their power when you are not feeding them with attention. As modern mindfulness practices align with this ancient Stoic principle, integrating techniques like meditation, deep breathing, and body scanning can further help you develop this skill of present moment awareness. Chapter 6: Using Stoic Exercises and Practices. To wrap up, let's look at some specific Stoic exercises and practices you can incorporate into your daily routine to strengthen your mind and manage social anxiety more effectively. 1. Morning reflection. Start each day with a period of quiet reflection. Take a few minutes to review your schedule and anticipate any social interactions that may trigger anxiety. Visualize yourself handling these situations with calm, poise, and confidence. This primes your mind to approach the day from a place of readiness and strength. Negative visualization. Practice negative visualization by imagining the worst-case scenarios of a social interaction. Visualize the discomfort and embarrassment you might feel. This may seem counterintuitive, but it can help desensitize you to those fears. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus recommended, don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace. By preparing yourself mentally, you reduce the fear of the unknown. 3. Premeditation of adversity. Another powerful practice is the premeditation of adversity. Take some time to reflect on potential challenges or setbacks you might face in social situations. Think about how you can respond to them rationally and resiliently. For example, if you fear being judged in a meeting, think through how you can calmly address any criticism and keep your composure. This exercise helps you develop a more balanced perspective and prepares you to face difficulties with greater equanimity. 4. Journaling. Daily journaling is an excellent way to process and reframe anxious thoughts. Write down any social interactions that triggered anxiety and analyze them from a Stoic perspective. What aspects were within your control? How could you have responded differently? what irrational thoughts were at play. Journaling helps you gain insights and track your progress over time. 5. Evening review. End each day with an evening review, reflecting on how you handled social interactions. Celebrate your successes and acknowledge any areas for improvement. As Marcus Aurelius advised, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. This practice reinforces a growth mindset and helps you learn from each experience. By integrating these Stoic exercises and principles into your daily life, you can gradually build resilience, confidence, and mastery over social anxiety. Remember, the journey to overcoming social anxiety is a process that requires patience, persistence, and self-compassion. Be kind to yourself as you work through challenges, and keep returning to the wisdom of the Stoics for guidance and strength. Thank you for watching this video on applying Stoic philosophy to manage social anxiety. I hope you found the insights and strategies helpful. If you have any questions or would like to share your experiences, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content on personal growth and well-being. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and keep embracing the Stoic path.